past continuous, to talk about an action, or event, that was happening at a particular time in the past. For example, I was sleeping between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. The past continuous is formed using was, or were, plus verb ing. I, he, she, and it are followed by was. For example, I was sleeping. He was running. She was studying. It was boiling. You, we, and they are followed by were. For example, you were talking. We were dancing. They were laughing. Negative sentences are formed using was or were, plus not, plus verb ing. For example, I was not running. They were not laughing. Remember, we often use contractions with negatives. For example, I wasn't running. They weren't laughing. When we form questions in the past continuous, was or were comes first, then the subject, then verb ing. For example, were you working today? Was she sleeping when you called? We can also form negative past continuous questions by adding not. For example, weren't you working today? Wasn't she sleeping when you called? It's important to remember that we always use a contraction when forming negative past continuous questions. We do not say, were not you working today? Let's look at when we use the past continuous. We can use it to emphasize an action or event that was taking place at a particular time. For example, this time last year, I was taking my final exams. We can also use the past continuous to talk about actions that were happening at the same time. For example, I was playing football while it was raining. It can also be used to talk about an action that was interrupted by another action. For example, I was sleeping when you called. Past continuous can also be used to give background information. For example, as she walked through the forest, the sun was shining, and the birds were singing. You can also emphasize how long something happened for. For example, my feet were aching all day yesterday. We can also use past continuous to talk about something that happened several times or was a habit. For example, I was reading all the time when I was a child. Let's practice identifying past continuous sentences. The text below contains 6 past continuous sentences. Press pause and see if you can identify them all. Then return to the video to see the answers. Okay, the past continuous sentences are: I was having a great holiday in Europe. I was traveling with my friends. People were singing in the town square. We were laughing and having so much fun. My feet were aching. Weren't you traveling this year, too? You can